Hey guys, Jeb Brooks, greenergrass.com. I am not coming to you from inside a jungle, but rather Singapore's Changi Airport. This place is amazing if you haven't been. There is so much to take in. But I'm here today because I'm on my way to Sydney. I'm connecting through Kuala Lumpur because I learned that Malaysian was running their A350 between Kuala Lumpur and Sydney on a limited basis. Now, that includes the first class cabin, which is where I'm booked. Only it offers business class service, so it should be a pretty interesting journey in kind of a different way. So let's get started first with a 737 flight from here in Singapore over to Kuala Lumpur.
In Singapore, Malaysia Airlines takes advantage of the SATS lounge. I found it to be very comfortable. There wasn't a lot of action in there, and I was easily able to find a spot to sit. It included, for some strange reason, some colon guard. Anyway, it was shortly time to board the 737 bound for Kuala Lumpur. The seats were arranged in a 2-2 configuration, great for this flight that lasted less than 35 minutes. Couple that with really incredible pitch, and the fact that the crew were able to deliver a meal to me, even though I slept through half of such a short flight. Malaysia Airlines was off to a great start.
Well, I made it to Kuala Lumpur. What a great flight that was. For so short a flight, it was fantastic. Now, to kill a little time in the lounge before heading to Sydney. Let's go.
Subscribers to this channel know just how much I enjoy watching departure boards. And if you're not a subscriber, by the way, I encourage you to click that red button, and that way you can be among the first to see all of the trips that I have upcoming. And there are a lot. Anyway, back to this. Malaysia's Golden Lounge is really remarkable. It's a special place, and I was able to explore a good bit of it. Let's head inside. There are wonderful views of the ramp, not to mention my first stop, the nap area, which certainly served my purpose. There's also a first class section. Now, I was given a brief tour of this area and was really impressed. The food over there was very nice. There's also a bookable first class suite. It reminded me of the residence section of the first class lounge in Abu Dhabi from Etihad. Now, this one, on the other hand, isn't just reserved for certain passengers, but can be booked by anyone in first class and allows for separate catering. Really, anything a passenger may want can be delivered inside this special lounge. Seeing this lounge certainly inspired me to want to fly with Malaysia again, only next time I'll book an actual first class seat rather than sort of this one-off service. I was impressed not only with the space, but also all of the services that Malaysia does provide, including a la carte dining and an escort that will take you through security in Kuala Lumpur and deliver you directly to the lounge and then onto your gate. The business class lounge next door may not offer the privacy of the first class lounge, but it certainly is nice, including the sports bar. Importantly for business class travel, I never struggled to find plugs. They were literally everywhere in this lounge. As a business traveler, I really appreciated the fact that there were meeting spaces available in this lounge.
I've got a little bit of time before I head on to Sydney, so I hope to get a shower, get changed, and get ready for that.
I had enough time for a little bit of work, and then it was time to head to the gate. I caught a glimpse of the raccoon that would take us on the 8-hour, 20-minute flight to Sydney through the night. It wasn't much of a journey getting in my seat, 1A. Now, I've found this seat to be incredible. It's reminiscent of the Delta One suite provided on Delta's new A350s. YouTube's funniest trip reporter, Paul Stewart, booked an actual first-class experience in this seat and found it to be too narrow. I, as you can see, was grateful for paying a business-class price. Of course, a pre-departure beverage of champagne makes any seat even more impressive. Boarding took no time at all, and before I knew it, we were lined up for the departure runway. The in-flight entertainment offered a very nice short documentary about the building of Malaysia Airlines A350. I enjoyed catching up on that right after takeoff. Speaking of the in-flight entertainment, it's controlled by a handset, which I found to be very responsive. This in-flight entertainment is a big winner in my book. Why? Because it has Best in Show, one of the funniest, most ridiculous movies ever made. One of my favorite features of the seat are the window shades. Unfortunately, because it was a night flight, I really didn't get to take advantage of them. In addition to the overhead bins, you also have access to this storage container in the seat. There's plenty of room for my briefcase. The tray table is located right in there. There's a shelf. In addition, another container here, which includes a plug, USB, the headphone jack, etc. There's also, conveniently, a mirror. As soon as I'd finished exploring the seat, it was time to start eating. Now, again, this was a late-night flight. We left Kuala Lumpur at nearly midnight. But if you think that stopped me from eating, you would be sorely mistaken. The satés were delicious. Again, this was sold as a business class seat, but I truly felt like I was receiving first class service. I chose to have the meat pie, and it was really delicious. One thing I don't understand about my country is why these haven't taken off in the United States. They're so good. Sorry to say I kind of passed on the salad underneath, but one thing that's very nice is that the tray table can be pushed back, allowing you to get in and out of your seat even during a meal. Back to that window shade. It can be controlled not only on the window itself, but also in here with a button. It seems a lot of airlines in their higher-end cabins skip the gaspers or air vents. I'm glad to say Malaysia did not. Once the meal service was done, it was easy to sort of get some privacy by simply closing the door. What a nice feature. As you'd expect, the seat folds down into a fully flat position. What's very nice is it's possible for a passenger to do this on their own. I like that because I want to be able to move in and out of that fully flat position as I desire without having to seek help. The business class amenity kit was very nice and featured everything you'd expect on a flight of this length. Perhaps my favorite feature, however, of this amenity kit is the fact that it can serve as a very nice DOP kit with that hanger. Malaysia offers internet on this flight, and I found it to be quite convenient. Now, unfortunately, there was a cost, and I had to pay for it because I was working on this trip. I caught a few hours of sleep, and before I knew it, it was time for breakfast. Now, the first course featured a croissant and fruit. At the risk of over-explaining, Malaysia Airlines usually serves Sydney on aircraft without a first-class cabin. They're using the A350 on a limited-time basis. As a result, I was able to book a first-class seat at a business-class price and with business-class service. In other words, the hard product was first-class, the soft was business. Regardless, I felt like a king. The cabin crew were fantastic. Malaysia offers passengers the opportunity to pre-book a meal, which I did. I ordered lamb. I didn't receive it at dinner, just figuring that maybe there'd been some kind of a glitch. Instead, however, I got it at breakfast, so it was a strange way to start my day, but I found it to be very delicious. In an effort to shake off that giant breakfast, I decided to take a walk through the cabin. Economy class is laid out in a 3-3-3 configuration. Business class is laid out in a 1-2-1 or 1-2-2 configuration. And the first class cabin is also in a 1-2-1 configuration, albeit with a bit more privacy. Malaysia Airlines noise-canceling headphones are okay. They're better than nothing, but I found myself preferring to use my own, as I usually do. As the cabin crew prepared for landing, I noticed there were two presets for takeoff and approach for the seat. I thought that was nice. One was a little bit more relaxed. That was the one I chose. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot to see until just before landing. It was pretty cloudy over Sydney.
Wow, Malaysia Airlines really hit it out of the park. This has been a spectacular flight as far as I'm concerned. Let's look at the 4 things that matter most on a flight of any length, but particularly a long-haul flight. First of all, the seat. It's incredible. Very similar to the Delta One suite. Everything is readily accessible. The door makes it extremely private. The seat is comfortable. Everything's, as I said, right here. I had great sleep. A lot of that has to do with just how comfortable the A350 is. There's a reason it's my favorite airplane. It's a great seat. Second of all, the food. The program is a little quirky, but the food was delicious. There are no complaints from me in that regard. And the entertainment, I wish there were a few more choices, but it's nice. The screen is huge and easy to use. Now here's where Malaysia Airlines hits it out of the park, and that's the 4th component. That's the service. They have been spectacular, so warm, so accommodating, so kind. I really wish I could fly Malaysia Airlines more often because they are that good. So in conclusion, let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. Click the thumbs up button. Double click the thumbs down button if you didn't like the video, and let me know what you didn't like so I can make it better. In all sincerity though, please subscribe, because if you do, you'll be among the first to know when I publish a new video of travel from somewhere in the world, and there's a lot more to come. But between now and that time, see you in the sky.